live on YouTube. So welcome, guys. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I am super thrilled to be doing this show and tell haul from this weekend's Tom Bishop show. So if you're joining here, say hello on Instagram, come over to YouTube because I'm not going to be looking at the camera here. I'm going to be looking at the camera here. Say hello in the chat box if you are joining. Let us know where you're joining from. And let me thank my friends and guests in advance for joining on today. We're all just back from the Chicago Tom Bishop Show, which is the largest and most well-attended show for miniatures and miniatures enthusiasts and collectors. And so one of the highlights is, of course, shopping. But when we get back from our shows, we love to just dive into what we purchased. So that's what this is about. Thank you for joining at home. Thank you for joining on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. Meet me over here. There's a link in my bio, folks, if you want to join and watch on YouTube. But again, thank you guys for joining, my friends. For the first person I'm going to bring up is Trisha Shea Pitzer. We have met before, and I actually want to learn a little bit about Trisha before she shows us some of what she found at the Tom Bishop show. Just introduce yourself for a moment and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'll give you a little bit of background with my miniature journey. My house, my dad had built me the shell of my house when I was 14 years old, so over 40 years ago. And we had gotten the plans from a real house. We had gotten a book from the library with real house plans from the 1890s. And he had built his 3-story structure. And I never did anything with it at the time. I like about 20 something years ago, I started dabbling with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then of course kids came along and everything kind of got put away. Yeah. And 3 years ago, my kids are almost fully out of the house, in college, almost to college. And I came across my house and boxes of stuff in the corner of the basement. Yeah. And
so it all happened.
Oh my gosh. It was like, bam. I mean, it was pretty funny. So
you're primarily a collector, but you also make, is that right? You make
miniatures. I love doing the woodworking side of things. Love it.
I saw that, and I have to dive a little bit more deeply into your channel to look at some of that stuff because I love that stuff. So folks at home, if you're just joining, say hello in the chat box. Trisha, tell us what you found at the show.
Sure. Well, with the house that I have, I'm a one doll house kind of girl so far.
Okay.
So got it. I'm very specific, not very, but I'm pretty specific about what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
because I want to keep that era of the house, late 1890s ish.
Okay.
And so I am looking for specific things. And one of my favorite things. So there is an Igma artisan. Her name is Cristina Noriega.
Yes.
She's from Spain.
We love her work.
I ended up getting a smaller piece from her last year and ended up connecting with her on the internet and kind of pre-ordered a piece of furniture. I usually pick one thing specifically that I really want to get at the show.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered and she brought me
here's the big reveal.
This is all hand carved. This is awesome. The artists that are at the show blow my mind. This is just, it's amazing. It's pear wood. It's all hand carved. And so I was talking with her on the first day and I'm standing at her booth. And of course, then, I start looking at other things of hers.
Of course. Wait, slow that down and show that a little bit closer to the camera.
So super butter soft leather, sign numbered, the whole bit. It's just beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then, so I told her, yes, please set that one aside. And then I'm standing there, I come back a little later and, ended up with yet another.
That is stunning.
So, I know. And just the artisans that are there are phenomenal. And
yeah.
I know that like Best Pack furniture is decent and everything, but these aren't that much, I don't know. The cost
Well,
difference.
there is a price difference, and
There
there is
is.
a difference in how they're made. But for
Yes.
sure, Best Pack is nice, and it is
Yes.
a great item
Yep.
for its price point.
Yes.
However, nothing
Exactly.
matches the handmade, one of a kind pieces that
Right.
you are showing.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that last chair you just found. Now that's completely upholstered. Is
Yep.
that also made of pear wood? And talk about
Yes.
the detailing in the center. Is that, you think that's painted?
She has a whole collection of, and this is what drew me to her booth in the first place. She has all these little metal detail pieces that you can buy. So this is like a little strand of metal of brass, and these are like little itty bitty, just brass details.
Oh,
So
you can't get a sense on video that there is that depth and dimension.
no,
And wow. Oh
I'm guessing
my.
that this is painted in here
Okay.
on the legs down here, but
Okay.
these are applied. So that blew
Wow.
my mind. I mean, I was just so excited to walk away with that.
Right.
There's
All
one
right.
other, I mean, I walked away with quite a lot of stuff, but there's one, you know how there's like one particular thing that you're just so giddy about?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I was ended up it was at Ginger House Antiquities, and I
Okay.
walked by, and there is, I love books. I love old looking books. And I saw this little it looked like a little scrapbook, and there's so many things at the show where people make them to look old, and I start going through it, and it is it
Oh my
she Linda
goodness.
ended up telling me, the owner of shop, and she ended up telling me
Wow.
it's from Germany, and she said early 1900s,
Oh, so
and
that's an antique miniature, and it's
but
a
it's
oh
an antique, but it's an actual book, like with
yeah.
little things, you know, all these little
Looks
marks and everything.
medieval. Is that colorful
It's
print? Like the medieval
yeah,
style?
it's
Wow.
but it's from the early 1900s, and but what was funny is I started. There are it's a date and like the day of the week and everything. So I started going online and doing a little research. And you know, I ultimately, with all the information that I found in here, it's from
Yeah.
1917.
Wow. Wow.
So you
And
know,
one more time on the vendor, if you will. Do you remember?
Ginger House Antiquities.
Ginger, I don't remember that
Yep.
vendor actually. Did she have a lot of dolls?
She had
I'm
a
gonna have to look at
few.
that.
She had a few. I
Okay.
also came across this there, and it again, early 1900s. It's from Germany, and she said this is gold and zinc frame, but you know, it's so cute.
You know, I think some of those real antique vintage
Mhm.
miniatures are underrated. And I
Yes.
think we need to be finding more of them. And I think,
Mhm.
yeah, because they have so much soul to them.
They do.
Love them. Love them. I love what you found.
I'm so
So
excited.
how many years have you been going to the show?
I actually, back in the early 2000s, I had been a couple of times, and
Mhm.
the two pieces that I specifically know, I have a Jim Irish bowl from way back when,
Oh.
and I also got a tiny little 4-inch table saw from Pete and Pam
Oh
Borum
yeah.
from
Yeah.
Smaller Than Life. That
Yeah.
is my still my go-to tool
For
as I'm
sure.
doing woodwork and everything.
Yeah.
So then just since 2022, I've started going again.
Awesome.
Yep.
So once again on your Instagram account so people can find you
Mhm.
is
It is
what?
every dot small dot thing.
Every small thing,
Yep.
but a dot in
Dot in
between.
between. Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now stand
Yeah.
by because we
Okay.
want to bring you back on because I want to talk to some of the other people, the other
Mhm.
guests who are on to show their collections. And maybe if you have time to spend to stay with us, so we can chat a little bit about the show. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So thank you very much, Trisha. That was awesome. Wow, that Christina stuff is just amazing. You guys at home, if you have any questions, hold on to them until we go through. We have two more guests who are going to share their collections, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about the show. And if you have any questions, so hang on to them for that. And if you're watching on Instagram, like I said, join us on YouTube because that's where all the fun is happening right now. My next guest is Monica from
Hi.
Monica's Maisonette. How are you?
I am so great having a little show withdrawal already.
I know, I hear you. Now, you've been on before to share your findings, so thank you for coming back.
Yes.
Really appreciate this. You're primarily a collector, correct?
Mhm.
And
I
do
make things. I do
you
make things. Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that before you share some of what you
Yeah.
bring? But I also want to mention you are a mover and a shaker in this world of miniatures, and we appreciate everything you're doing, the energy that you bring to it. I know you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff with Igma. So introduce yourself for people who
Sure.
might not know you,
Okay.
and then let's dive into some of the things you have.
Sounds good. I'm Monica Shellabarger. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And like many miniature lovers, I got a dollhouse as a child and then, loved it through childhood. And then kind of life happened and it got put aside. And we're lucky enough to have a beautiful miniature shop here in Nashville called the Miniature Cottage. And through that wonderful place, I discovered Ray and Scott, Ray Whitlich and Scott Burgess. And they were living in Nashville at the time. And I took some classes with them and led me to IGMA eventually and the Chicago show, and had a little break in life when I had my son. And now I hope to go every year until I cannot physically go any longer.
Yes, I hear you. I'm on that same path, I hope, as long as I can go. Yes. All right. So, and I know you do a fair amount of shopping. So let's get to it if you can.
I had a plan this year. And one of the things I know we talked about was that, I kind of need to transition into getting a bit more of a big girl collection. And Martha McLean, who I love, that I met in 2009 in Chicago, we were in a class together. When you showed her collection, I discovered who Jim Irish was. My family, we're going to go to the British Isles this summer. We are going to go to Ireland. We're going to visit Waterford and see the Crystal Palace with some of his work. And I decided I needed to get a few of his things. And that's what I'm going to start with, if that's okay.
Yeah. It's always good to start with beautiful crystal.
I hope you all can see that. So when you go to the show and there's a beautiful brunette behind the table, that is actually his daughter, Suzanne, also pronounced Siobhan in Ireland. I managed to pick out the Siobhan pattern.
Oh, is that right? Do me a favor. Put your hand in front of it so the camera will focus on it.
Is that better?
Yes. Wow. Wow.
Let me grab another piece. This is also in the Siobhan pattern, a little bit more of a, oops. Let's see. So how's that?
Yep.
More shallow bowl.
Beautiful.
And then the rim on this bowl just made me crazy. See if the back of my hand does any better. There we go.
That's beautiful.
One
That is
other little
beautiful.
tiny candy dish. Let me see if I can hold this appropriately so that you can see it.
Oh my God. Had you had any of Jim Irish stuff before this, or this was your first purchase?
I got a set of his goblets at Miss
Ah.
Kay's museum. There is a gift shop. I think I
Oh.
told you were surprised to find out you could buy things there. But yes, I
Wow.
got a set of goblets. So I decided I needed some bowls.
Yes, of course you did.
So I'm going to take you from Ireland to Spain. I am working on a Victorian orangery, and I'm going to need to fill it with plants. And Susie Minnie Eden, her name is Susie, and her shop is Minnie Eden. Look at this chair of succulents.
Oh my gosh, that is just beautiful.
I saw it on Instagram late last year, and I thought if she shows up with that, it's going home with me. And I got some little loose succulents from her as well, all in this little pan.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, this one has a tiny sprout.
So what are you making again? What is that called? And say it slowly.
An orangery. So in
Orangery.
Europe, it's basically a greenhouse,
A conservatory.
conservatory. And if you grew your oranges, you needed an orangery.
Oh. Nice.
So it's
Wow.
fancy greenhouse.
It's giving me New York Botanic Garden vibes.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Then from Spain, we're going to go to Japan. Up Far Field, table 4 in the Rose Room, blew my mind. It blew a lot of people's minds. It was a collective of Japanese artists. Many of them were there. Atelier Junko, who is in Kensington, was there. I can't tell you all the other artist names because I can't pronounce them, but this.
Hold on to that thought, because when we all come back at the end, I want to talk about highlights of the show, and I agree with you. They're one of the highlights.
So this was Atelier Ishi Cheiko, and it is succulents in iron carriage. The succulents have every little tendril.
Oh my gosh.
The pots are as gorgeous. The metalwork. I was gifted the first in line certificate by a friend who couldn't be there. And I ran and slapped some money down on Christine's Hannon's table because I had to have this painting, which I'm going to find it. It's out here somewhere. I'll find it. And then I ran to Upcore Field.
The which one? The Japanese vendors?
Yes.
That's where you went to first.
Second, right after I got
Second.
the painting. The metal work that these artists did. And this artist was in my class, in Teresa Lehman's class. Her name is Rie. The trays are absolutely exquisite. Look at the little handle.
You're killing me. I did not see those. What was that? Where was that? What table?
Same table. All the metal work.
Oh my God.
And then, I mean, Darren, we could be here all night. Oh, here's the painting. This is where I ran first and got a Wayne Thiebaud lipstick painting.
Yes, that is just, Christina has got some beautiful stuff this year.
The museum came and bought 4 of her pieces.
Oh my God. Of course they did.
4
Of
of
course
her
they did.
And the last thing I'll show you, just one of many tiny metal things, pasta tongs from the Japanese artist. Everything metal there was absolutely incredible. Oh, I lied. One more thing. Tiny flatware.
That is just crazy.
Exquisite.
Crazy.
Absolutely exquisite.
So do you feel like you got everything you went for? Was there something that was like
and
and more?
Take it to the States now. This is my first time to buy needlework. This is Natalia Frank.
Natalia
She's making
Frank.
me one more. She was the most delightful lady. I said, so I just need it in time for Christmas. She said, oh, I'll have it to you in 1 week. And I couldn't believe it. 1 week. I said, take your time. You could take 3 months. She says, oh no, you'll have it in 1 week. So that's Natalia Frank. She is in Iowa. I believe she may be from the Ukraine or from, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But she does live in the States. And then another nod to needlework, our newest IGMA fellow, Giovanna Guerrero, who is from Mexico.
Yes.
I bought one of every one of her pot holders. Okay, the little gingerbread house made me crazy. And then wait. Gingerbread man.
My God.
And the Santa belt.
Those are great. Those are just too great.
Wonderful. And she could be my child. She's probably 20 years old. Couldn't be more pleasant. Her sister had ceramics. I bought ceramics from her sister. They are two talented ladies.
Oh, please don't remind me, please, between the Japanese artist and those 2 ladies from Mexico.
Look at the rim.
The pottery was beautiful. So you got a piece from her.
Look at that.
Good.
It's absolutely exquisite.
It's under, I mean, yeah, she's someone to watch for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh
They
my
came to the
God.
meet and greet and were 2 of the sweetest ladies I've ever met.
All right, tell us a little bit about the pink box behind you, and then we're going to bring Becky up.
It's just my French patisserie that I built in Chicago in 2009 with Ray Whitledge and Scott Burgess. And I'm still continuing to fill it. But since I did Teresa Lehman's market stall class, which I will not show my market stall yet because it is still in pieces, this is what it will look like. And I had to get a bunch of cakes from Mimondo and Rosa from Anna, because I always love getting cakes from her to fill it. And, we'll get back with each other on that, because I'll have lots of pink pastries to go in there, and Orsi's pink tulips.
It's fabulous. It's just fabulous. All right. Well, you're just so great for the mini world. Thank you for everything you're doing. You're such an advocate for all the artists. Obviously, you're a patron. You're just such a great supporter. So thank you. Hang on. Can you stay with us for a little bit? Because I want to bring everybody back and I want to have a chat about the show. All right.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you. All right. Miss Becky Gannon, Mad About Miniatures. Hello. How are you?
I'm great. I'm just trying to recover from a weekend of fun and shopping and taking pictures.
Yes, I know. You are also one to watch. You're doing so many great things for this mini world. Thank you for all your support and all of that you do to support the artists and just all of your content online. And we've never actually spoken before, but this is amazing.
I mean, we've spoken in person.
No, we've never done this.
I don't want people to think we've never talked.
No. Yeah.
But yes.
But thank you for joining. Thank you for just everything you're doing in the mini world, but really, we'd love to see some of the things that you caught your eye and were able to
Yes.
purchase at the Tom Bishop show. So take it away.
Well, and thank you for being so gracious. Ever since I started, you've always been super gracious about supporting me. So my big mission was a miniature closet. And I got my very first piece from, is it Soon Lemons? Is it Soon?
I think it's Soon Lemons. Yes, Soon.
Soon Lemons. And I'm a little mad that nobody ever told me about her or dragged me there. Because I am a huge collector of artisan jewelry in real life. In fact, I want to show you this piece.
Get out.
Looks an awful lot like this
You
piece.
did not find a little piece that mirrors your full-size piece.
I sure as hell did.
Get
And it
out.
even has earrings that are the same.
Oh my gosh.
And I talked to Soon and let her know that I'd be seeing her much more in the future. So this is, I don't know if you can see it. It's not on a chain. It's all linked together. And it's red and it has little centers in the middle, just like this.
Yeah.
And it has little matching earrings. And she starts, which I said, how do you start with this? And she starts with a big piece of sheet metal, which is amazing, and cuts it down and keeps going and adds until she comes up with this.
Wow.
So I was really impressed. And this is the very last thing I purchased.
Oh,
and I don't know about you, but whenever I go to a show, the last thing I purchase is always a big discovery.
Well, talk a little bit about that. And that's why. Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's that I go to all my usuals first.
Okay.
And then I take a lot of pictures. And then the very last hour or two, I just wander around. And it seems like that's when I always sort of open up my mind and find something I didn't know about.
Yeah. Awesome.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And then they're just pushing me out the door. And I'm like, wait.
And that's a good
I think I have $84.
And that's actually a good tip for people who maybe never did a show. That, there's a strategy. There should be a strategy involved. So that's one thing to think about. So that's good advice.
It's hard. I mean, there are people you definitely have to go to, or they'll get sold out. But then there's also you really need to take a loop too. But it's difficult to take a loop because every time you take a loop, you will see someone different, because people will be standing in front of different vendors, etc.
Right.
So
yes. All right. So what else?
The next few pieces are the colors I'm known for. I'm known for loving teal. And I found this is from Dee Marie Miniatures, and she was the helper at Christine Hannon's stable.
Okay.
And this is hand knitted.
Yes, I saw her work. Yes.
Hand beaded, very affordable.
Mm.
And look at that work. The little purse even opens. I don't know what you could put in it, but it does open.
Little things, of course.
Little tiny lipstick. It's just beautiful work.
It is. It's beautiful. Yes.
It's so beautiful. And then on the teal purse thing, since I'm doing a mini closet, I got my first mini Birkin. I will say it's probably the only Birkin I'll ever get. I mean, I'll get other mini ones, but. And this Birkin is made by Jonathan from House of Mirth.
Perfect.
And I know you love his stuff as much as I do.
His topiary. I'm in love with his topiaries.
Yes, I really wanted his elephant topiary. I could not figure for the life of me where to put it.
It doesn't matter. It's something you got to have it.
I know.
He had one. I'm like, how could you sell one? You need to sell these in pairs.
Yes. Doesn't he know that elephants are communal animals?
Absolutely.
I'm going to send him an article about elephants. And this is a custom color, which he was very nice to do. Yes, it's beautiful.
Awesome.
And
beautiful. When did the teal thing start? Is that's your color in your life? And talk a little bit about that.
Color in first life. I think it started about 20 years ago.
Is that right?
And it's just kind of gained. And I guess when I buy teal or things that go with teal, then everything goes together. And also it just makes me happy. When I was in the middle of raising kids, there was this bowl that was teal. And when the sun would catch it, it was like I would look at it and I would feel calm and
Yeah.
peaceful
Yeah.
without the help of Prosecco or Zoloft.
Well, I think
I'm
you
kidding.
you hit the nail on the head, which is, well, you've got two things there that are making you happy. It's miniatures and teal. And that's a
Yes.
great thing that you combine those two things to make you even happier.
Yeah. Somehow when I look at this color, it literally, my serotonin rises. So there you go.
All right.
So,
That's awesome.
okay.
That is awesome.
So, a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure you, like, where should I start? And this is a fun, modern, very affordable line by Casey at Smallish Miniatures.
She's actually on. She said, "Hi, Becky."
Hi. And she made me the most special custom present. It
Oh,
says, it's my podcast line that I always say, there are no rules in your dollhouse except those you make for yourself. And she surprised me with this and made little teal handles. And I just about cried. It was so thoughtful. Isn't that just the cutest thing?
that's delicious. That is so, and I love the story. That's beautiful.
Yes. And then inside it, I put a little teal hair dryer from her that she had set aside for me. Look at this. It's
Oh.
just so fun. And she's really known for those everyday items.
Yeah.
Like I have a Kleenex box from her. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Oh my
And
God.
isn't that so fun? And she
That is
made,
just
I think
great.
one of her really fun things she made this time was these artist stools.
Oh, I saw those. Those are
And
awesome.
they're just the perfect weight.
They really are perfect. I love the seat. The seat has that dimension to it. Like,
Yes,
yes.
that fork dimension.
Yes.
And then she also has just a lot of fun little, like this says, definitely not a trap door. And that will be on my Halloween house. So, I think for people that are a little worried about like going into the, super big girl collecting, you don't have to invest in every single piece. You can get some great little minis that you'll have that'll be easy to use. Here's a fun little notebook with a bulldog on it. Very
Say that
affordable,
again.
very fun.
What is that? Say that again. Super big girl. What? Because Monica says that
Well,
too a lot.
Monica was saying, she has her super big girl collection, and
Super
a
big
lot
girl
of
collection.
and a lot of people who follow me aren't quite ready for their big girl collection.
All right. Right.
So maybe they don't have a lot of money to spend on crystal, but we can all have a little cute.
Monica.
We can all have a bulldog spiral notebook, right?
That is such a good point. Yes.
I knew a lot of people would bring their beautiful investment pieces. And I guess I also wanted to show that these fun, super cute, affordable pieces are also like bring me a lot of joy too,
Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful point. Miniatures can be approachable, affordable, and bring you the same amount of joy, let's say, as a fine art miniature piece, quote unquote. But yeah,
Exactly.
I love that. Yes.
It's what makes you happy,
It's what makes you happy.
Oh,
Yes.
and
that is
one
true.
more piece from her, a self-healing cutting board.
I love that. Oh,
And
man.
then the other thing I've been looking for is art pieces because I'm doing a studio in honor of my mom who passed 2 years ago and who was an artist. And so I'm hoping you can. I've spent all day trying to learn how to say this name, Alamekimikri. I know that's wrong.
That was a good try.
Okay, you have a better try?
I know.
So she makes the most amazing painter stuff. And this is a little pastel box, which is very hard to find pastels. You can find paints, you can find oils, you can find watercolors, but this is a little box of messy pastels. Do you see them? They're just so cute and they're just extra messy, just like my mom had hers.
They're perfect. They're just
Aren't they
perfect.
so cute?
Awesome. Awesome. That looks like a beautiful piece.
This is a really beautiful piece.
Yeah.
She
A
does
well-made box. I see
everything
brass
is so
hinges.
well made, and she
Yeah.
makes the most amazing brushes. I asked her if she would tell me what her brushes are made of, and she said no. But she's going to teach at Guild School, and at some point she has promised to do a brush class, and tell
Awesome.
us how to make them.
That's not Alexandra Contatori, is it? Is that say
I
AC on the
Yes,
Alexandra Contatori? Yes, I
I was
know
just
that
looking.
painter's box. I have that painter's box.
Yeah,
Yes,
you have.
Alexandra. She's awesome. Awesome.
Yes, I had already made a paint box, so what I wanted was the pastels. Yes.
Beautiful. All right.
Yes, she does amazing, amazing work. So
She really does. All right. And any last pieces to share? Because I'm
yes,
gonna
I
show some
wanted
of
to
mine.
share my
Yes.
little, let's see. I always get almost every show, I go to Mary Louise. It's and I go and get another ladle. I first met her at Guild School. She does these beautiful copper pots, but
Oh
I was so
yes, her stuff is
fascinated
beautiful.
because she has 7 kinds of labels and ladles, and she knows what each ladle should and should not be used for. And that is the
Interesting.
kind of precision that I do not
Yeah.
have.
You also just said something very interesting, which is every time you go, you get another piece, which I think is another great way to build a collection. You don't have to get it all at once. So
No,
talk a little bit about that. No, she
sleep.
froze. There you are. You are there.
Oh
You're there.
no. Okay. So
You're there.
I just love her ladles. I didn't start with the collection. I just met her. She has fabulous stuff. And I was so intrigued by the idea of all these different European ladles and that each one had a different purpose. So I got one, I got a copper one, and it was perfect because as you know, the property of water is such that if it's too small, it will not scoop up and pour water, and hers does.
Oh no.
Her big
Wow.
one does. And so I was very impressed because I had tested out other ladles and they did not.
Wow.
But this time it's perforated, and this is used to skim soup stock to thin it out and get the little roots and vegetables.
Oh my goodness. That's a whole level of detail that is making my head explode.
So each ladle has a little cooking story.
Oh
And if
my
there's
goodness.
one thing I love, it's a story.
That is just amazing. Thank you so much. Will you be able to stay for a little bit longer?
Yes,
I'm going to
sure.
share some of the things I got, and then I'm going to bring everybody up. I'm just going to spend really just a few minutes because I'm not going to show that much, but I do want to show. I'm actually going to do another Instagram to show almost everything I got, but I'm going to spend a few minutes just showing some of the pieces that I got. This guy, this is a what is it? This is a set of folding. First of all, I love anything that is made of wood. This is a set of folding tables made of hardwood. And they all, I'm not going to open them, show them, but they all open up and fold. And they're just beautiful. It's a husband and wife team. I do want to give them credit and say who they are. Jeff Swim and Betsy Van Dyke, Doodlers Woodworking. I never saw them before. I think it was their first show. Just my mind exploded. I had to have that. And this is a shout out to Becky because she knows I am obsessed with brown leather and leather bags. I had to get another one of these because just look at it. I mean, just look at it. That's all you have to say. I also got a few pieces from Soon Lemons, and one of them, my other obsession. I mean, I can't even tell you how many obsessions I have within miniatures, but my other obsession is top hats. And so she's made a few of these beautiful steampunk top hats, which, I mean, anyone who loves miniatures loves detail. It came with this beautiful hat stand. Crazy. I'm gonna show. There's too many to show. There was also, and when I bring everybody up, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that the European vendors were just kicking it at the show. This is from Vanillin Miniatures out of the UK. I'm crazy about taxidermy, and I'm building a mini collection within a collection of taxidermy. And I couldn't choose. It was hard. So I had to choose one. They were all amazing. I chose the bear. just 2 more, and then I'm gonna bring up maybe 3 more. Oh, this lady from France. Oh my God, she makes the most beautiful hand painted, hand sculpted, hand detailed masks. I want to give her. I want to make sure I get her name right. It is Sculpted Masks by Madame Reeve Natalie Maury. Whoosh, I got 2 of them. But I have to say, the best thing that I mean, they're all the best things, but one of my most favorite things is the most simplest of all. It goes back to loving leather and loving wood. And I found this also at Vanillin. You're not going to get it because it's in my head. It's a footstool. It's a leather footstool. I have a men's shop, and just, part of the experience of going to these shows is discovery. And to find a piece or 2 or 3 that, you love is great. But then to find that one piece that just is like, oh my God, I think it was made by David Brooks. But it was sold by Vanillin, part of her collection. I don't think he's making miniatures anymore. So I have so many more, but I can't. I want to bring the guys back up because I want to talk about the show. I want to talk about thoughts and things like that. And I also want to take some questions if anybody has any questions. But thank you guys for coming back. Why don't we just do a
I
little
have to
round
show
robin?
Becky,
Oh,
I have a Boston Terrier notebook too from Casey. I do not have a big girl collection yet. I'm trying to start one.
you have a big girl collection. Stop it.
Martha has a big girl collection. I like Boston Terrier notebooks too.
So I have a question. Did everyone get the $6 butterflies?
From where?
Who was giving away butterflies?
Well, let's see. I couldn't find the card.
Oh.
Jan Vandendel from the Netherlands. I'm probably not saying that right. I got orchids and flowers and
I missed that memo.
I missed that.
He is wonderful. He and his wife are from the Netherlands, and he always has beautiful, beautiful plants, and he has kits. Wow. And they are lovely, lovely people. Wow. And the last time I got orchids from him, he wrote down the names of the makers of the pots. One was from the UK who had passed away, and the other one was from a maker in the UK that no longer makes them anymore. So they could not be more lovely. Jan Vandendel.
Wow.
But I think I say this is the bargain of the show.
Yeah.
All right. So you can find a bargain. Actually, we got a question about what makes a big girl collection. It's a good question.
It
is. Does anybody want to tackle that?
I mean, Christina Noriega furniture.
So what defines a big girl collection item?
I would say if it's an artisan or fellow made item. And they don't have to be an artisan or a fellow. There are many wonderful artisans out there that haven't pursued that status, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and honestly, it doesn't have to be an expensive item. I mean, to your point, Alexandra, is that this was one of hers. She's an IGMA artisan, and she does metal work. It's a little soul thing. It was like $17.
Yeah.
And so you can find these amazing pieces by these artists that have mastered their craft at all different price levels.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
I
totally agree.
I think, and yes, you can have a big boy collection too.
Well, I get that.
You do. You do have a big boy collection.
So I want to talk about some of the vendors there, because the first one I want to bring up is the Japanese makers. We have been following them for years. They haven't been at the shows. They're there now.
There's going to be a website too.
Oh, this should be. But that table was amazing because it grouped together a whole bunch of Japanese artists that were brought over by a couple of young ladies, and they were fabulous. It was blowing my mind. Did you see some of the flowers?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
What was left?
Well, what was left? Exactly.
And the variety of kinds of things on that table. It was actually a little stressful because
that's a potato
everything
masher.
was so darn good.
Yeah. Very, very high quality. Great stuff. I was very impressed with I always am with Tom Bishop's show, because he is the ultimate curator of bringing together all of these artists from the United States and all around the world. Let's talk about what stood out. Any specific vendor stick out for any of you that you want to bring up? Artist, vendor, I call them vendors.
Well, I had to go back to Mini Faraberia, because last year we all ran to see There's stove that has an electric
Yes.
burner and heats water.
Mhm.
And this time they told me it also has a working fan on top, which blew my mind. And then they have a sewing machine, which has little magnets on it. So you see
yes.
a lot of pieces.
Yes.
And, this last time the stove impressed me. This time I saw 40 pieces that impressed me.
Yeah. And I think that's the key to making these shows so exciting is that the artist, you go back each year to see what else the artist has brought to the table. And I
Mhm.
love to see what's new, what's different, what are they thinking? And that Fanabera, is that how you say it?
Mini fan.
Mini Fanabera. They do it really, really well.
Yeah, they do.
Really well.
They're both engineers by trade. She was a bridge
Mhm.
engineer and he's an engineer.
That makes
Yes.
so much sense. Let's see. Any questions from? Yes, I was so excited to see Mini Fanaberia spelling Casey. Hi, Casey. Let's see. Oh yeah, the folding tables. I love the folding tables too. All right. So I thought the crowds were amazing.
Mhm.
Did anyone see the there were a couple of ladies there dressed up as like in fun outfits?
Yes, I did
I-
see them.
Period.
They-
Out. Yeah.
We need more of that. I think we need more of that sort of a little bit of spectacle. I think that's what made Comic-Con so, gotta go, whether you like comic books or not. I loved that energy.
Do you mean like Belinda in her little hat? Or are we talking
No, there were
about
some girls in full like
They were in like kabuki
Yeah.
like outfits. They had like hoop skirts but to your point about the girls in the hats from, where are they from?
Castle
From
Craft?
South Africa, Castle Craft.
South Africa.
Yes, it could be as subtle as a top hat, outfit while they're selling to just the spectacle of people walking around. I thought they were amazing. I did see a lot of young people, which I love. I love seeing young people at the shows because we need more of that. Any other observations, thoughts? Oh, stop it. What is that?
House of Mirth. Jonathan.
He had that. I didn't see that at the table.
Oh, yes, and because he knows I love green. Green crocodile Birkin because I don't have $214,000 to get a real life one, so that's as close as I'm going to get to a crocodile Birkin.
Oh my
Becky
god!
got
So,
one too. Look at her too.
Holly from Tease Miniatures, me and Monica, we are all
Yeah.
mini Birkin buddies.
I love
And we
it.
invite the rest of you to join our mini Birkin club.
I
And
love
he
it.
knows I love green. So malachite, that is
Oh my God.
an
Oh.
ashtray and matching tissue box.
All right. Because
Mhm.
Casey is on, not only because Casey is on, but this is one of my favorite miniatures.
Did you get some? I got some too.
I had to get the Uggs by Casey from Smallish Miniatures. I had to.
I got the
You got-
light ones.
That's awesome.
I got
I have-
emotional baggage. and
We're
snacks.
just so you got the dueling bags. I want to talk about I want to talk about what's his name from Italy, who is also underrated. Like I think his stuff is amazing. He makes
Big Man,
beautiful.
Small World.
Defoe from Italy.
Oh,
It's a
Danielle
really
Falvo.
thin.
Danielle Falvo.
Danielle Falvo.
Yes.
I had to
Gorgeous.
get
Incredible.
a set of whites, like just basic whites.
So
Why are-
beautiful.
Why was he sitting there without a crowd in front of him?
Well,
Shame
I'm glad
on
that it is true. He is
It's
under.
beautiful.
People just don't know, and he's also the one who comes to the table with something new every year.
Mhm.
Last year was the Italian foods. This year it's the beautiful pottery. It's crazy. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so thin. Beautiful.
So thin. All right. Anything else before we wrap up this awesome session?
I thought
Nutcracker.
So
Beautiful.
I bought the little
That's great.
nutcrackers, Philippe
Beautiful.
Royo from Spain, but I also went back and they had little tiny Queen's guards, including a guard shack, and they had them with all different instruments. So I had to get one of
my
each.
God. Who is that again? What vendor?
Philippe Royo Artisans from Spain.
Oh,
I know
yes.
it's not focusing really well because they're so
Yes.
tiny.
So I want to remind folks who are watching, why don't we go around, just tell us the handles again on your Instagram accounts, how people can find you if they maybe have a question, they missed something. Who wants to
Monica's
start?
Maisonette.
Monica's Maisonette,
Every dot
Becky,
small dot
mad
thing.
about miniatures.
Mad About Miniatures.
And Trisha at every dot small dot thing.
Awesome. You guys have been fabulous for spending this time with me. We have to do this again. Oh, but
look
wait,
at
there's
that.
more. A
It's a
pull
pram.
toy. Stop.
Yeah.
That's a
From
pram.
Van Allen.
Madeline.
Van
I know.
Allen.
I hope she comes back next year.
I've
Guys
watched
at home,
to
thank you
antique
so
pieces
much
the-
for watching. This has been awesome.
Thank you
You
for
guys,
having us.
thank you for being here and have a great rest of your nights and days. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.